Okay, the primary action results actually came out some few minutes ago.
Okay.
The results were really not different from what we were expecting. We saw on the longer tenure an increase of 5 basis points from 14.50 to 14.4 to 14.45. The other ones are basically they also sold all that they offered.
Okay, so what about the yield curve? What are your thoughts on the yield curve in terms of how investors are playing the short end and the long end?
Well, there's been a lot of sell-off on the short end of the market, though the market generally has been quiet, but we've seen a lot of sell-off on the short end of the market. We expect this to continue, but then a lot of traders are very wary of doing anything significant now because of MPC meeting next week, and then we expect that CBN will continue to manage the liquidity via OMO auction. You know, a lot of people are pricing what we expect next week at the MPC meeting. People really don't think that CBN is going to change any parameter, but then they will continue to manage the liquidity using the OMO. Okay,
so the market is nervous, or is it just the uncertainty of the direction of the yield?
Yeah, the market is just the uncertainty about the direction of the yield. You know, with the social economic risk, which is beyond anyone's control, and then of course the FBI's activity on the bond side. On the bond side, we also noticed a lot of sell-off from the 2028 and the 2037 especially. We've seen the yield go up as high as 15.95. You know, this is about the highest since 2017. So a lot of uncertainty is playing out on that end.
Talk to us about, because what we're also hearing right now is that there may have been a slight pullback on the part of institutional investors, the pension funds and the fund managers. What can you tell us about that? Is that actually happening?
Yeah, that's actually happening because, you know, everyone is still not certain what direction will be. Everyone is also looking at the MPC meeting next week. So I think after next week, the direction will be clearer, and then people will begin to take position.
Well, in terms of the range of yields that we're going to see, what are your forecasts? Is it easy to forecast what we should expect for the rest of the week?
Yeah, for the rest of the week, it's going to remain this same way, my own belief. But I think that on the bond side, we're expecting to see yields go as high as 16 level. That's what expectations are. We also think that the FBI will continue to sell. If you look at the maturity, the NDF maturity, which is non-deliverable forward maturity for this month, which is about well over $830-something million, which is about times 2 of what it was last month. It shows you that the FBIs are willing to sell off more, and that will give you a kind of a hint what we're expecting as regard the yield.
Talk to us about the state of liquidity at the market. I know that last week there were some outflows, inflows also. Do you has the CBN been, in terms of its mop-up activity, has it been moderate, aggressive? What can you tell us?
Yeah, there's about 400 billion maturing next week. Tomorrow, sorry. And so we expect that CBN will come in, you know, to mop up. The system has been quite liquid. CBN have done 1 or 2 OMO, but we expect that they will continue to manage it this way.
Well, what would you say has been the trend, looking back or thinking back in the last 2-3 weeks? Would you describe the mop-up activities as moderate or aggressive?
Yeah, it's been moderate. There's not really been that aggressive, but it's been moderate.
Okay, so for next week's bond sale, bond auction, 115 billion next week, what are market expectations?
Well, the bond auction is coming up next week, Wednesday, and that is before the MPC meeting. So whatever happens on the MPC meeting, we give people, we give a direction on what people are going to do. Basically, people are just waiting to see what will happen next week.
Speaking about waiting to see what will happen, I'm sure you're aware that Nigeria is on the Eurobond roadshow, and I think that was today, Fitch Ratings assigned a B+ to that Eurobond. I just want to get into the minds of investors right now, especially the institutional investors, how they're looking at Nigeria, how they're looking at Nigerian assets, Nigerian securities. What are your thoughts in terms of how investors are interpreting the state of the economy, the government's ability to raise revenues and just get that momentum and the economic recovery going?
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of factors that are affecting the economy, especially the inflation right now. If you look at the minimum wage that has just been passed, about 30,000 has been passed, that will put pressure on the inflation. And also the issue of Nigerian Eurobond. Investors obviously know that Nigerian economy is not as bad as people think it is. You know, the only factor that is affecting the economy right now is the political scene, and I believe that a lot of people are wary of it. If you notice what is happening on the bond market, you know, this level of a 15.78 level is actually a level where people feel comfortable enough to buy. If you get to 16, fine. Okay. So now everybody is looking at the election. Once the election is over, I believe the investors' confidence will increase.
Okay. Chuka, thank you for sharing that with us today. Chuka Nwachukwu, fixed income trader at UBS.